Welcome to The Preferred List, a podcast about the people behind the best wedding days. I'm James, a wedding filmmaker. I've spent years in the industry working alongside incredible vendors, and this show is all about real conversations with the ones who make it happen. Whether you're a vendor or a couple, you'll get honest insight, good stories, and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Let's meet today's wedding vendors. We got two, Emily and Tom. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah.
Very excited to have you guys on. Emily and Tom do just about everything. There are some things that they don't do, I heard, but they do just about everything. Photo, video, a photo booth, and they own a coffee shop, which is all of the best things, honestly.
We think so.
Yeah. So we're going to jump into all things photo, video, how coffee fits in, business ownership, parenting, all the stuff. Not a lot of parenting, but just how to balance everything. But before we do, we're here at Hazelwood Weddings. Hazelwood Weddings is a modern wedding venue in New Oxford, Pennsylvania, specializing in weddings, micro-weddings, and elopements with easy access to Gettysburg, York, Lancaster, and Baltimore. It's built specifically for weddings, and you'll find an intentional variety of bright open spaces bathed in natural light and surrounded by stunning woodland views. Hazelwood is the perfect backdrop for your day and an even better backdrop for your photos and videos. Let's just throw videos in there too. But Kate, the owner here, I mean, just a delight to be around, right?
Truly. She's
One
the
of
best.
I was gonna say she's one of the best in the Pennsylvania industry. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And if you can't see the natural light, I don't know what you're looking at.
When you said that, I was like, "There's sunlight just basking in over there. It's beautiful."
This is so fun. So, just give me a little like overview of all of the things that you guys do with Tandem Weddings, Blue Booth, and even a little bit of like how President's Coffee fits into everything.
Yeah, you want to start with Tandem? 'Cause I feel like you
I
kinda
think
spearhead
that's
that.
what started everything.
Yeah.
We originally started our business the year that we got married in 2018, and we were then Tandem Weddings. Since then, we have evolved, obviously. Around COVID, we brought in the Blue Booth, which is our digital photo booth, and we had an opportunity to start a coffee shop
Yeah.
along the way as well. So we kind of just jumped at it, took a chance on ourselves, and here we are with all these businesses, and somehow we're still alive and enjoying it.
And I hear there's an Airbnb in the works too. It's just like a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you hear the deep sigh? Yes, there's a lot of stuff. Yes.
I don't know. I feel like coming out of like the COVID year, it was like a lot of weddings, and then the following year was like we were working double time.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we had this opportunity where we were like, oh, there's this beautiful space available in Gettysburg. So we were like, let's do like the dream and open a coffee shop. And then I think we were halfway into that, and there was this property that we found that we were like, oh, this would make a great Airbnb. So we also went and like started doing that. So it's like, it's been a lot of like starting, but it all stemmed from Tandem Weddings, which is now Tandem Weddings. It all stemmed from us taking that leap. I had been freelance already for a bit and like doing weddings and, commercial video, but Em was working a corporate job at the time. And we were kind of like, okay, let's take this leap into being entrepreneurs and owning our own business.
Yeah, I mean, you really took a leap. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you guys have going on. But did you, at that point, when it was Tom and M Weddings and you were jumping in to kind of like join Tom and his thing that he started, were you kind of like already in the like business mindset, or was it kind of like a huge shift?
For me, I was ready for change, and I was in this industry working in social media for higher education, and I was just ready to be done and do something that was creative, but for myself. And I didn't think that was possible until I met Tom, and Tom was already doing it and making it happen. So when he kind of was doing his thing in the wedding world and letting me come along, I definitely saw the potential, but wasn't sure that it could actually make us money or make a living or anything like that. So I was definitely scared. It was definitely a risk at the time. But I felt like at that point of our lives, that was what was next. And that was the change was coming. Something was going to change. And we just went for it. So
Yeah, and I don't want to take all the credit for Tandem Weddings because like I started doing photography in like high school and I did like an apprenticeship with a local photographer. So like I got wedding experience early on, but I very quickly shifted to video and then was like, oh, I'm just gonna do wedding videos like here and there, whatever.
Yeah.
It was not like an organized business. I just considered myself like a freelancer.
Yeah.
Emily came in and gave it like the organization, the brand. She really brought
Yeah,
the
to
experience,
be
the client
fair, I
experience.
was working in project management as well.
Yeah.
So I had a
Yeah, that's
lot of like
perfect.
the detail oriented side of stuff
Yeah, yeah.
down. And Tom brought a lot of the entrepreneurial energy that
Yeah.
we needed to
It
make it all
sounds like
work.
we're very similar
Yeah,
in the lack of organization, but we make up for it in excitement.
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, motivation. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we tell a lot of our couples that too. They have a very similar dynamic where one of them might be more type A, which would be
Mm.
me, and the other is a little just excited to be there, type B, keeping everything,
Yeah.
relaxed. And that's, I think, how we thrive together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fun. You guys have a lot going on. Is there like how do you balance all of the different like you can think of them as revenue streams or just different businesses? Because I do feel like as a wedding vendor, some are working this like it's a part-time thing, it's
Mhm.
on the
Hmm.
side.
Right.
Some are like it's the thing, it's the main full-time job. And then it seems like you guys have branched out and you're still doing like freelance video stuff,
Hmm.
directing, you have clients there, you have your coffee shop. Like how are you guys balancing it all? And then like how did you make the decision to jump in and like branch out from Tom and M to Tandem to like all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, I know. I realized I asked like
Yeah.
six
Yeah. Yeah.
questions. So I was
No, I feel like the coffee shop and the Airbnb project that we're finishing up, I feel like those things were very much like specific opportunities. I always tell people like our first location of the coffee shop, that's been open for just about 2 years now. That would not have happened if the specific location was not available.
gotcha.
Like it came up for lease, and we were like, if we were going to do something in downtown Gettysburg,
It would be this.
it would be this
Mhm.
building. And they tell you like when you're getting into like brick and mortar, do not fall in love with the building or a space because leases are complicated. You
Yeah.
can not get it even if you think you can afford it, things like that. And I fell in love with the space and was like, no, this business, like if they say no to us on the lease, if they if it's too expensive, if it doesn't work out, I'm not gonna like go scrounge up another location. Like this spot is where I see like
So
this
it really
vision.
was just like an opportunity that presented itself, and you're like,
Mhm.
if we're gonna do it, we got to do it now. Do
I
it this
think
way.
Yeah.
a like common pattern for us is like a door will open,
Yeah.
and if we walk through it, that's the next thing that's coming for us. Like
Mhm.
Tom had been doing a commercial video while we started weddings. That's always kind of been happening behind the scenes. And weddings gave us this opportunity to say yes to different, avenues,
sure, yeah.
like the photo booth. I had almost all of my couples one year ask me if we had a photo booth. It was just the most random thing that I was like, should we have a photo
Yeah.
booth? Would you
Yeah.
guys like it if we did? And that was the door opening for
Yeah,
for that
100%.
opportunity. So most of our photo booth couples are local to this area or are part of our couples already.
Already,
They
yeah.
are one of our clients. So yeah, it's just been like a string of the door being open or a door is just there and we have to decide if we're going to open it or not.
And
Yeah.
Tom's
So-
like, let's just kick this door down.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I love
Yes.
that.
I feel like I'm pulling back a little bit now just because there's so many
Yeah.
projects, but like
Yeah, yeah.
there's so many things that we're like doing, but it's like
And to be fair, I think we would have been more reserved had we known, like, when we started our coffee shop, we signed our lease and then found out we were pregnant like the next week.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
had we known we were
timing.
pregnant, we probably wouldn't have started the coffee shop. We probably
Yeah, the
wouldn't have
timing.
bought the
Mhm.
Airbnb property. We probably wouldn't have done a lot of things that we did.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we did all of
Yeah,
them.
now it's all working out.
It's all, I wouldn't recommend so much change at once,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it all worked out. And
I remember that whole entire year, everyone would be like, oh, congrats, you're pregnant. Oh, congrats, you guys announced you're starting a new business. Oh, congrats, you guys bought a property. And they were like, you guys are just doing everything at once. And I was like, don't remind me. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to think about it
Yeah.
right now.
I
was
already
like,
can't sleep
Yeah, I was
because
like,
of
in
how
a
much I'm
couple
thinking
in a
about.
couple years, I think it'll settle down and we'll be like able to like,
And
think
that's
about it
not
better.
to
But
say that everything has been seamless or worked
yeah,
out.
I was
Like,
gonna
it's
say,
hard
has
we
it
work.
have
settled down? It sounds like it's 2 years
no, it
away.
has not settled down, and
Yeah.
it's all like a
Yeah.
work in progress. We're not experts at like everything that we're doing,
No, not at all.
but
No.
we're learning along the way. And
But that's
like,
the best mindset to have. Like, if
Yeah.
you're a
yes,
vendor that's listening, like, you need to take that mindset because it presents its own opportunities. Just being
exactly.
willing to be
1000%.
like, hey, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Mm-hmm.
And
opens just conversations with
yeah,
other vendors, other business owners, like anything that you want to pursue in life. It's like general, I feel like, to business is like if you keep that open mind, anything is possible.
Right.
I also think there's like a mindset shift that I had where it was like, what, not to get too deep, but like, what is like failure, and does that really exist? And it does, but it doesn't at the same time. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that you feel pressure, like it has to succeed. I have to be the biggest photographer, the biggest wedding videographer in the entire local industry or whatever. And it's like, you can be successful and not be the biggest. And
yeah,
then you can also decide you want to shift and do something else. And that's not you failing. That's just you moving on to a different chapter of your life.
yeah.
So with the coffee shop and like with an Airbnb, I felt comfortable taking more of those risks because it was like, oh, if it fails, I just go back to doing what we were doing. You know what I
Because
mean? Like,
it's not like it wasn't working.
Right.
exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why not have some fun and try these new things and open those doors when we have the
Yeah.
opportunity?
Right.
Christina is going to be very upset with you because I'm going to want to open a coffee shop even more than I already do.
Because I'm like, there's no such thing as
There's no,
failing.
yeah, there's no. Did you
Even
hear
if-
Tom?
Yeah, yeah.
Christina, do you hear Tom? There's no failing.
There's
No,
okay.
there's
Okay.
real.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait, wait.
yeah. I was gonna say that is like
Emily's like, wait, pause,
Yeah, yeah.
pause, pause, guys.
'Cause
The
Reel it in.
logistics side
Emily
of
brings
it.
it back to
We
to back
did
to
talk
group
about
dinner.
this
Yeah.
before it started that this was going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll reel it in just
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. I'll let
The
Emily.
dreamers
but
at
it
the
is.
table.
It does. As funny as we're kind of making it seem, success I think can be defined in a couple different ways.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And what success for you, it might be shoot 10 weddings with dream couples and make $50,000.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
could be shoot 20 weddings and make $200,000. Like
Mhm.
it could be any of those,
Right.
or I mean, several other different combinations of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Right.
weddings, people, or even branching out and kind of doing something different.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right.
But when you guys were Emily and Tom, like that initial,
Mhm.
Era.
yeah,
Yeah.
how did you guys go from that to uh, launching like Tandem Weddings, doing that brand,
Mm.
like redefining what that looks like for you
Mhm.
guys in the wedding industry?
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of happened really naturally with the changes in our life.
Mhm.
Tom was taking more of a back seat to be able to run the coffee shop. You know, we have to kind of divvy up our responsibilities a bit. So I was already naturally just taking over the business side of Tandem and running that, doing more of the client facing meetings and all of those calls and stuff. So it was kind of a natural progression of like Tom's going to take a step back and he might not be at every wedding. So I didn't want our couples to see our brand as our names
Yeah.
and say, "Where's Tom?
Where's
Who's
Tom?"
Tom? Why haven't we ever talked to or seen Tom at all?"
Mhm.
So
I swear he's real.
right, he does exist. But for my sake, just to make it easier for our brand in general to grow, I felt that need to kind of shift things, and we played with different names, just different options of directions we would go, but we landed on Tandem. It was kind of a play off of Tom and M anyway, so it worked really well.
Yeah.
And then kind of just highlights our mission to be able to do photo and video in tandem seamlessly together, which was why we started in the
doesn't
whole
always happen.
right, which
Just
is
to like,
that's why we started the business in the first place. Was Tom was doing those freelance jobs and I was helping him as his second shooter video here and there, and the photographers would run away with the couple and do a whole photo shoot without us,
Yeah.
and we were right there. They could, so we would
Yeah.
just have those situations so often that we were like, all of these couples we're working with are amazing people and they deserve better and
Yeah.
they deserve the best for their day. So I think honestly at the core of all of these projects we have is like our desire and our just I don't know, our passion for hospitality and
Yeah.
making sure like everybody who experiences something that we have created is going to get the best possible experience if we can help it.
yeah, I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea of creating a like unique experience for people, but also just like a genuinely good one. Like I feel like we over the past I can't count, but we've been doing weddings as Tom and Em in tandem for since 2018. But over those
Oh,
years, it's
same.
like we have a bunch of
2018. Wow.
yeah,
It was
we
a
have
good
like
year.
like a lot of our couples are still like friends with us
Yeah.
Yeah.
and still like now Emily's doing a lot of like maternity sessions.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
so
a we have
fun.
a
Families,
studio
yeah.
here in New Oxford, so she does maternity sessions and then newborn. She just did like the second newborn session for one of our clients like 3-4 years ago. It's just
Yeah.
like
So
really cool to
special.
see that community. And it's
Yeah.
like when you get into the wedding industry, it's just like, yeah, you're doing these events back to back to back. And then all of a sudden you step back and you're like, oh wow, all these people are like their own little community that we've kind of brought together. And
Right.
some of them even know each other and things like that.
Yeah.
So
And that's been such a big thing for us specifically. Like, I talk to other photographers all the time. And when we first started, I think our goals were similar in like,
mhm,
we want the big weddings, we want
yeah, the
the
flashy
flashy,
venues. Yeah.
beautiful. They're spending a ton of money and we're making a ton of money. And since we've refined our mission and our goals, like that's changed so much from going in that direction to like we just want to work with good people. We
Yeah.
want to work with good people who are in love, that like love what we do, and we
Who
can
want
make it
their
happen
photos
for them.
taken.
Yeah, that want a great yeah,
Who enjoy
who
it,
enjoy
care.
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
who want a good experience and know like they trust us, they know that we're going to
Yeah.
take care of them through the whole process. That's the goal. Like, and I don't need to shoot 35 weddings to be happy. Like,
Yeah.
I need good people. That's it. So I think that that's doing all of these different projects, starting a coffee shop, being
Mhm.
more immersed in hospitality has
Yeah.
just shaped us so much to where like we do this so differently now
Yeah.
than we
Yeah.
used to.
So we've heard a lot about like the experience that you have kind of cultivated over the years. I'm curious, like what other like kind of the way that you shoot or what your mindset is day of that helps you kind of capture things differently than other photographers or other videographers.
Mhm.
Well, the thing that I think makes us different besides like the photo and video side is like the art of noticing. And that's something that like we're really big about is
Mhm.
like, I don't want to say I feel like I'm going to say this wrong, but like, I
Hot
feel like
take
a lot
time.
of the time during weddings, we're like stalking the couple, right? Like we're just watching everything, like just constantly bringing our eyes across the room because like that's what we love now. Like we started the business with this passion for the
Mhm.
experience. And I think now that we're in it, it's kind of shifted into becoming like more of an art and more of like what can we notice at this wedding that is going to be super meaningful to this couple, and what are we going to find, like what does this wedding have for us today?
Yeah.
Like that's
Getting a
that's
shot
the
that's
only
like
thing that I think like maybe we didn't touch on too much, but
yeah, like getting a shot that's like super unique to the couple that they're not even aware
yeah.
is really happening and we're kind of there and ready. That oh, I get way more stoked over that than like a cool portrait shot. It's like
Yeah,
we could do portrait shots
absolutely.
all day.
Yeah.
It's like that moment that we like truly document
Yeah.
that's like, oh man, I just got the coolest thing. Especially when I have if I have like if everything collides perfectly, like they're still mic'd up from like the ceremony or
Right.
they're mic'd up from the first look and we get this like little moment
Yeah.
um
Those are the
on camera,
best.
I'm just like, dang,
I
that's
think
what I want to do.
we're
Yeah.
like really emotional people too.
Yeah.
And I think we attract those couples where like they're also really
Mhm.
emotional or they're like in tune, they're emotionally mature or whatever you want to say. But like that's what makes us really excited on the day of is like, oh, we got the mom like crying with like the first time she saw her daughter in the wedding dress. Like that's what makes us really excited.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of people that take great photos, make great videos,
Yeah.
but like the experience
mm-hmm.
seems like what's that? How would you describe like what it's like to work with Tandem?
Mm.
It's
Like
a
what's it
great
like to be a
question.
couple of
I
Tandem?
do feel like it's unique for every couple, which I feel like sounds cliche, but
Mm-hmm.
genuinely I feel like because Emily does a really great job of like the onboarding calls and then also like the engagement sessions that are just like complimentary. We get to know the couples before the wedding day. So wedding day, we're walking in and we're hopefully being like, "Hey, what's up? It's good to see you." It's not like nice to meet you for the
Yeah.
first time. And I know that's pretty common in the industry nowadays, but I feel like back in 2018, it wasn't that common for like engagement sessions to be automatically included. And then also we would do a lot of video at engagement sessions as well, which was
That's
not
so
being
fun.
done.
Yeah.
And it's also tough to do that because I don't know of many photographers who would allow the couple to bring like a third party
Yeah.
videographer to their session because they know it would like mix up the flow. It would, maybe be a little weird. But because we were a team and like husband and wife, that was
You
just
were
like
just like joining.
yeah, I was just like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't I go to the engagement
Yeah.
session and grab extra video to use? And it just, so that was kind of like it gave us a little bit of a leg up content wise, but then also they knew both of us on the wedding day.
Yeah.
So then
To be absolutely fair, that's not super common anymore. We can't get away with that. We have
What?
a toddler at home
Oh
to
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
like
It's not super
engagement
common for me
session.
to go do video
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if couples do ask about it, I'm always
Yeah,
like,
down
oh,
to do
down
it.
to,
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say for us, it's not as common to be able to do just because of like all the life stuff. But that I think helped build relationships with couples before we even get to the wedding day. And then they feel like they just have like a friend there or someone that they can trust to like fix anything that's going wrong. And we try not to be like the planner or the coordinator for the day as
Right.
much as possible. That obviously happens to a lot of photographers. You know, people look to you for
Yeah.
like timing and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
I think that they just feel safe with us. And that can go a really long way. Like the bride being comfortable to turn to you and be like, this family member is really getting under my nerves, and we can be the ones to be like, hey, you need to go to cocktail hour, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like we need you to clear. And then I'm able to be the bad guy for them.
Yeah.
The bride gets to enjoy the rest of her photos without, you know, Uncle Bill there taking photos over our shoulders, and that's like annoying the bride just as much as it's annoying us. But it's like those little things, I think, like whenever couples turn to us and talk to us like in confidence or are that comfortable, I'm like, we're doing what we set out to do, which is like create this comfortable, safe experience for them. And I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. You can talk.
Oh, you
Oh,
talk
am I
into
not
the
talking in the
mic.
mic? Sorry.
Sorry.
Is that like a good? I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
describing
no.
it well.
No, absolutely. I would say like experience wise, in my perspective, there'd be two sections that like I think piggybacking off of what you said. Like one side is that relationship. Obviously, we want the couple to be comfortable with us. And I think how we shoot and the way that we do things, and, you know, we're a documentary style, but we have an editorial edge to us. Like, we like the.
Can you tangent for me and explain what that means?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I
Absolutely.
was gonna say you
And
have
then
a
you can
good
get to your
idea of the
second.
vision.
Don't forget your
Yes.
second point.
Absolutely. So we love the nice, beautiful, voguey posed photos. I think every bride deserves to look like a supermodel on her wedding day, too. Like you want that a little bit of drama here and there. Plus, at venues like this one and venues around here, they have that element that's like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
We need like a moment. So we love like that editorial feel. And of course, you want that, you know, smiling picture for grandma's mantle.
Yeah.
But we also want to be more documentary style in the sense of like, if you don't need the direction, I don't want to boss you around all day. I would rather you get dressed in the pretty light and then we can do those pictures that mom has to zip you up. But I want to document what's happening and not feel like this whole day is just a photo shoot
Yeah.
because that's not my goal. My goal is to watch a beautiful couple get married and document that. So
It feels like very much a videographer's perspective.
I was
It
gonna say
is,
the video
yes.
being like starting out as photo and video, the video fed into how we shot because we
Absolutely.
quickly realized like if we're gonna shoot photo and video on the same day and be a
It's
team,
got to be a certain way.
Yeah.
we have to
Yes.
shoot a
Yeah.
different way. And that's why we don't do a lot of solo video jobs anymore. Not
Yeah.
100% why, but part of the reason is because we don't know who we're going to be paired up with.
Yeah.
And it can either be a great experience or a really rough experience.
I
And
will vouch for that
Yeah.
as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
like I sometimes forget the luxury that I have of like my lead photographer is my wife
Yeah.
when I'm shooting video.
And you know exactly
I
what
know
she's
what-
going to do,
yeah.
how she's
Yes.
going to, yeah.
And we are really intentional about prioritizing
Yes,
Tom getting his shots. So like I get
just
my
as
shots.
much as photo, not like
and
over
then,
photo.
like,
That's what-
yes, yeah.
Tom is more important than
Yeah,
you
you know, but-
There's a reason he's sitting closer to the
Oh,
cameras.
I get my shots and then it's an immediate, okay, Tom, step in, do what you need to, especially if there's not enough space for both of us in like a room or venue or something. That's something that when I second shoot for other photographers and there's a videographer there, that's not very normal. It's usually the photographer just
It's not-
goes
yeah.
and the videographer has to get what they can get. And like,
Yeah.
it might not be the best angle, but they're going to get something. And usually you're good at fighting for what you need,
Yeah.
but it's not ideal.
No,
right.
it's not.
So that's a huge part of like how we developed, you know, working together. And of course, that's not to say we started this and we were perfect. We're spouses
Yeah,
It
yeah.
took us a while to like figure out how
Also
to do
accurate.
this,
Yeah.
figure out how
Yeah.
to do this and do it kindly with
Yeah,
each
because we
other.
used to joke like
Yeah.
we would like leave like the portrait session or something, and one of us would get like snappy at the other, and we'd look at each other and be like, okay, we wouldn't talk to another photographer that
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
That was where like we got a little too comfortable with each
Yeah.
other, and it's like there's
Yeah.
pros to us being in sync and
Exactly.
in tune, and
Yeah.
then there's other ones when she does something that like I'm like, oh, that shot did not look good for video. We need to redo it, but they need to keep moving or whatever.
Yeah.
I will look at her and I'll be like, come on, dude. But I'm like, I wouldn't do that to another photographer, so I
Yeah.
gotta like
Yeah.
pull
Reel it
back,
in. Reel
reset
it
a little
in.
bit.
Yeah,
So
you'd
it's
be
like,
like,
yeah.
"Hey, do you think it's okay if we
Right.
get this extra shot?" Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we could stay on the tangent just for one more question,
Of
and then
course.
your other point
Yeah.
to your
I got it. It's
2
still
points.
there.
We're like we're deep on this tangent,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but from the photo side, maybe if
Mhm.
you want to take this one, and from the video side, if you want to take the video
Mhm.
side, what's your best advice for the opposite to
Ooh.
help
Oh
be a
man.
better like combo creative on the day of?
Yeah. I've got some
You want to go first? Okay.
And it could be
advice.
more than like one thing, but just like
Absolutely. I think from a photographer's point of view, watching other photographers, like it just helps to understand that like while you are a priority and the couple paid a lot of money for you to be there, the videographer is also paid a lot of money to be there. And there needs to be some sense of understanding that they're also a professional that needs to get shots to complete a good high standard wedding film,
Mhm.
just having that teamwork element and like setting the ego aside for a minute just so that you can work together and both create the best possible, content for the couple is should
Mhm.
be end
Yeah.
goal. Like that's the only advice I could say is just like breathe for a second, let the photographer do what they need to do. Don't ignore them all day.
Yeah.
It helps
Videographer, you
if you
mean?
can work together and you can say, hey, do you want to do a shot here? Do you want to direct them for a little bit? And like you can kind of get other shots you might not have thought
Mhm.
of. So yeah, that's the biggest tip I can say is just like put the ego down for a second and like
Yeah.
work together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm speaking from like the videographer perspective.
For
Advice for videographers or
for
for photographers?
photo.
Oh, for photo. I would say let moments breathe a little bit more.
That's great.
As someone who was a photographer first, then a videographer, and now I do, both. Most of the time, I will say I'm second shooting now with photo, but I can still carry my own on a wedding day. Um, let moments breathe, because I know not everyone is going to be a documentary photographer or be 100% comfortable with doing that. But when you let moments breathe for the videographer to capture a moment rather than a frame, you really are helping everybody out.
Mhm.
One, the room doesn't feel like the room or outside with portraits, whatever, wherever you're at, it doesn't feel like you're rushing everybody. And it also allows them to capture more moments. There have been moments where nothing's happening. Like the first look seems like it's over. And then when you guys are like, oh, yeah, okay, say a couple's having a first look, I'll give an example. And it's not very like emotional reaction or whatever. We've had it where when you like let your guard down and like let it breathe for a moment, the moment breathe for a second, they think, okay, we're not in front of the cameras anymore. And then they get super emotional or they react a lot better or they talk more candidly. The videographer most likely rolling on that.
Yeah.
But if you're the photographer, like the second the moment's over, you're jumping in frame to like pose them,
Yeah.
which happens a lot. I'm sorry. I am over there like, oh, you are not letting these people have their moment and have their wedding day and have their first look. It's like,
Yeah.
there's a timeline, yes.
There's a pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also like I fully believe in like just letting people have the moment. I think
Yeah.
like Emily said previously, we'll put people in good light and send mom over there or the maid of honor and say, just get dressed.
Yeah.
And it's like that's letting them have their moment. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're
That's
capturing it. We can
Really documentary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we'll ask them
Sometimes
to
they
pause or
need-
slow down, but like
Sometimes they need or prefer direction, and
Yeah.
that's totally okay. But there is magic in like
Yeah.
those moments that
because even with the directed stuff, it's like I've worked with photographers who even if I'm shooting photo or I'm like not even like shooting video, if I'm just there, I've seen photographers go in and like direct every 2 seconds they're saying something.
Yeah.
And the bride's face is like usually in a listening mode, not in a enjoying the moment.
Which does not work for video.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
It barely works for photo.
Yeah.
I would
Well, they
dare to
step
say
back, and then
Mhm.
it's
yeah, I would
It's
dare to
already
say
posed.
people
Right.
would get better photos if they shot like videographers.
Yeah. Could
I don't
you
know.
give me helpful tips for, or maybe it's one tip, a big tip for videographers to be better on the wedding day to be more
Yeah.
helpful towards the photographers?
I think working.
Emily's like,
yeah,
let me
Don't
at
put
this.
your tripod
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
middle of the ceremony.
There's so many.
You don't like that?
There's so many different things, but it's like I think it's etiquette is one. Is
Yeah.
like think about where you're putting things. Like we
Mhm.
always try and hide tripods. Like even we do a safety angle for the dance floor. It's
Yeah.
always like hidden behind the DJ booth, like just barely creeping over the DJ's booth, just to make sure we have a
Right.
safety, but it's not in the background of like photos.
Yeah.
I think we've refined our style over the years. Like sure, early on there's light stands in the background. Now we try and get those out of the frame, whatever. I think besides that though would be like clear communication on the
Mhm.
day is the biggest thing. And it's like not I need X, Y, and Z. It's hey, how can we work together? The
Right.
conversation should always start with how can we collaborate, not I need and
Yeah.
you need. Like it
Mhm.
needs to be a collaborative because like piggyback on what Emily's saying, there is so many weddings that we have shot where it feels like you're fighting the other vendor team
Right.
to like get a moment, and it's
Yeah.
like this is so bad for the couple. Like we're not going to get good enough photos, we're not going to get better video. Like if we all just like take a deep breath, put the ego aside, and all just like collaborate, that would be like the
And
biggest.
put our tripods in the center.
yeah.
Directly in front of the couple.
That's how we
Directly
get.
in front of the
That's how we
couple.
get our
Yes.
best
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ceremony.
It should
yeah.
be parents aisle and then your video tripod right
Yeah.
behind
Your
them.
tripod
And
and
a
you
big one, a big
standing.
one
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
right? Not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
TV scale
Yeah.
video camera right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Actually.
Don't do that.
Seriously,
Don't
do
actually do
that.
that.
No, yeah, there's definitely ways to collaborate. And I think that the industry's come so far since we started in
Oh, yeah.
2018. Like
100%.
when we do work with other videographers and other photographers, we don't typically have issues anymore because I think everyone's learned that lesson the
Yeah,
hard
for
way,
sure.
you know? But, there's always ways that we can be more collaborative with each
I
other.
think the biggest thing that I notice is like a style difference,
Oh,
and the style difference lends itself to be the main contention, the main issue.
Yeah, I know what you
So
mean.
like if you're a documentary
yeah.
and you're editorial,
Yeah.
the editorial person is going to get them in some grand posture,
Right.
Mhm.
and they're just going to hang there,
Just sit
snap the photo,
Mm-hmm.
get this like amazing picture.
Moment.
But then for video, it's
Yeah.
like, can they like
Move.
move?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. If it's
Yeah.
like, the videographer is like going the other way with it.
Right.
It's just like, I think that's the biggest thing that I've noticed is like,
Mhm.
if there's a huge difference in style,
Mhm.
it's like, how do you manage
Right.
those
Yeah.
two different things, which is a perk to having a team
Exactly.
of people kind
Yeah.
of doing the same mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think on those types of days, you just do the best you can. That's why we
Yeah.
are spoiled with each other
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we do, and when like documentary and editorial, even in portraits, we're doing editorial, that big grand photo, but then we're playing games and doing prompts
Make them
majority of the
laugh,
time
Yeah.
so
make them
that we
just
can get good video and
moments,
photo
yeah.
because, we want not only for video, but photo, those candid moments are just like sometimes the best ones of the day.
And don't get me wrong, like when she does the editorial shots, I'm right there getting like some sort of like quote cinematic video
Yeah.
of like
Right.
like when we do the big, like if it's a venue that has a very grand view or something and we have the couple like pose dramatically, I'm still gonna do that like gimbal push in,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
lots of headroom, and then I use that as like my title slide or something. So it's like I still think you can use all of those shots.
For sure.
Right.
But yeah, I think a lot of people maybe get too stuck in like, well, my style's different than this photographer. And it's like, yeah, but you can still take video,
For
good
sure.
video of those things. It's just about like being adaptive. And I think that plays to the collaborative thing. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Because there's definitely times if a photographer is willing to include the videographer in
Mhm.
things and
Yeah.
like, hey, do you need anything?
Yeah.
That's your chance to be like, actually,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Don't be weird. Just do your stuff, get your
Right.
thing, and then you can move on to the next thing.
Right,
Because
yeah.
there is still like the timeline pressure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I feel like for the most part on the photo side, I think that's where a lot of the pressure comes from is like keeping things moving. If there's not a
Definitely.
planner that's doing that
100%.
or a coordinator that's doing that. But I'm curious. You guys have been in business since 2018,
Mhm.
sort of under two different brands kind of
Mhm.
thing. I'm curious how else your business has changed over the years.
I think Em talked about it a little bit. Like I've taken a little bit of a step back. So like I used to be on every single, entry call. What do we call those?
Consult
Consult
call.
call.
Yeah.
Consultation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consultation.
Every single consult call was both of us sitting there, which I don't know, was maybe nice for couples because it's usually a couple and then us
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah.
So M does like majority of like the
Yeah.
business
Have a
side.
2-year-old and then see how that
Yeah,
works.
exactly. Yeah,
Literally. Yeah.
yeah.
Right around bedtime,
Can you
which
Yeah,
is
just
when
yeah.
everybody
The
wants to
calls are
talk.
meet at 8
Yeah.
p.m.?
yeah. The
Yes.
calls are
Yeah.
always like 6 to 8 p.m., which is
Yeah.
when she's like going down. So, yeah. So I think like that, and then we've brought on an editor over the years. We started kind of doing a little bit of weddings here and there when I couldn't keep up with the post production, and then we went full on editor, just because I could not, find the time to like fully edit and like
There's a
really give it
huge
my
difference
all.
between going to a wedding and shooting it and
Yeah.
Mhm.
then finding the time to
hmm
actually get it edited, especially with all the other stuff that you have going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, but Emily, for the most part, I feel like has taken more of like the leadership role in the business. I mean, she does all
Yep.
that client back end
Yeah.
engagement sessions, like coordinating with
Has like
Mhm.
style changed at all over the years or like
That's something that, like, maybe a little. I think
slightly.
how we approach things has changed. I'm a lot less concerned about my portfolio. That
Yeah.
doesn't matter to me at all anymore. But yeah, I think a little bit, probably here and there. I think when we first started, we edit a little more light and airy. And I think nowadays we're a little more true
hmm
to, the scene, however it was and felt. Um,
Particularly,
Specifically
yeah.
that. But yeah, but we've definitely grown. Our team has grown. We have that editor who is also a videographer for us. So
Yeah.
we
oh
do
cool.
have other associate videographers, like lead shooters and stuff, who are a part of our team, and that's been really fun. But
Yeah.
I
And
don't
then,
think, honestly, I really don't think too much has changed besides just like I've taken over a lot of the back end of the business and
mhm,
run things, and Tom's more of like a supportive role at this point,
yeah.
and that's been working out really well for us with everything else,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. And I still
So
enjoy shooting weddings. Like, we were talking about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I still enjoy going to the wedding and shooting it. I just didn't have the time to like build out the story and everything. And
Yeah.
I don't think our edits are like, groundbreaking, but we do try and like
right,
get into like the audio and the, really tell the couple's story or tell a story about the day, basically. So it took a while for us to like hand that off, and we still have like obviously creative control.
Yeah.
Like we're still like,
hmm
hey,
Yeah, yeah.
this
He's
needs
not
to
like
change.
sending them the film.
Yeah,
right,
but like she
exactly.
said, like they are a part of our team, so like he is also shot, I don't know, half the weddings with us probably
Yeah.
or more. So,
hmm
and he was a wedding videographer before that, so it's like he has experience, and then he also is like part of our brand, so it doesn't feel like I'm like throwing it to some random person who has their own style. He's
Yeah.
like working with us and for us. So
Yeah, I think generally just like the overall like business structure has
hmm
changed.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
We're still really passionate about what we do. We're passionate about working together, but I never wanted either of us to feel stuck in this business. I wanted to have that space to evolve and change as well. So that's always a conversation between us of like, are you still happy doing this?
hmm
Do you still want to continue? Do you still want to be part of it? But also still giving each other that space to back off if we need to.
hmm
We have a team for a reason so that like Tom doesn't have to shoot every video. He prefers to,
Yeah.
but that it just gives us more flexibility.
I'm
yeah,
curious. I have to imagine someone is listening or watching that's like, I'm feeling burnt out and I don't
Mm,
have the ability to like step back and like have an
mm,
editor
you
right.
or
do,
have
you
have
do.
yeah, so have
Yes.
a lead person come in for you. So
hmm
like you're saying you do.
Yeah.
How do they manage and figure that out?
So one of the biggest things, I feel like I didn't learn this until we opened the coffee shop, is sometimes in just business in general, you have to step back and invest in those extra people to come help you for you to actually grow the business or kind of reignite that passion. So for instance, when we first opened the coffee shop, I was like, I want to be behind the bar making drinks
Yeah.
as much as possible. I want to be, you know, right there with my team. And we have a team of like 10 or 12 now. Um, and that meant that then when I got home, I had to then work on the actual business, like do the scheduling, do the payroll, do the ordering. And it was just like, wait, this doesn't work. And I was like, oh, but I don't want to pay someone more money to manage stuff. And I was like, no, I need to. And that has actually created the space for the business to thrive because we can work on events, special things, collaborations, all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. And there's someone else ordering the day-to-day stuff. There's someone else
hmm
on bar, like working and making drinks. And so I take that also back to the wedding industry. you have the space. If you are charging $2,000 for a wedding and you need to go pay an editor, let's say $750 to $1,000 to edit like a simple highlight video, that could potentially be worth it because now you have more time to get on more calls with people, market yourself, edit smaller content that can go on social media.
Right.
You're giving yourself space to grow your business and market your business. So anybody who's profiting has the money, I think, to hire someone out. It may not be a full editor. Maybe it's someone who can just edit clips down from your main videos
Or call the
or
wedding.
call the
Yeah.
wedding. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's like finding those little things. I think a lot of people see that as like, well, I'm making 50 grand a year. If I get an editor, I'm only going to make 40 grand. It's like, I don't think that's true. I think if you hire that editor, maybe it takes a year, but in a year you might be able to double your 50 to 100
Yeah, it's
because
not
you
going to
have more
happen right
time.
away.
Right.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's not going to happen right away, but I always see that as like, if you're profiting, responsibly take some of that profit away and start hiring out for
And
certain
also,
things.
what's the alternative?
Yeah.
If you're burnt out,
You're just
like
gonna
you're
close?
gonna close, you're gonna shut down quick, you know,
40
like
grand
you
is
can
better than
only,
zero.
yeah, you can
That-
only do so much.
Only slightly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like
Yeah,
if
no, I'll be
if you're
honest.
making 50 and you're burnt out, or if you're super successful and you're burnt out, that's better than closing and being at zero. Especially if like you're someone like me who was like on the day of the wedding, I was having so much fun shooting and being creative and being passionate, and then we'd get to the edit and be like, oh my gosh, I have so many other things to like work on.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have the time to really give it my all. It's like that's where it was like, okay, we need to start taking a chunk of each wedding and like paying for someone to edit these videos.
Right.
So
And yeah, to be 100% honest, that was like a huge part of the shift of our business because I'm running this business that I'm really passionate about. And
Yeah.
like, obviously we've talked so much about how passionate we are about the client experience. If Tom has 100 other jobs, is this client getting their video back within like a reasonable time frame?
Yeah.
So
And you
that
don't
was
want to
a
be the dude that's
huge-
doing like a year-long edit.
Exactly, right. So that was a huge part of like, you know, even we were in that position. We have a new business, we have all this stuff happening. Can we really make it work? And like, what's the alternative? Your client gets a worse experience because like you can't decide to just do it, you know?
and that delivery is part of the experience. So it's
Right.
like you can't have
Keeping
all
that,
you
yeah.
can't have all this fun on the wedding day with a couple and
Oh,
be
they were
friends with
great.
them and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
on the back end be like, oh yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. It's like, no, it has to
Or
be
deliver
Right.
a mediocre film.
Right.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
because people are watching your work, and if you have like all the killer stuff on your site or your social media,
Why does mine not look like that?
Right.
yeah, couples are different. So like their videos may differ from based on how much audio
Some are
they
more
get.
emotional, some
Yeah,
are
some
less.
are less. Yeah. So it's like that obviously is going to change. But at the end of the day, they're looking for what they saw on your site or your social media.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to be able to deliver that
Sometimes I
quality.
ask couples about interviews and they're like, absolutely. I want to
Right.
talk. It's like,
Yes.
just get me on there. And some are like, do we have to do that? And I was like, well, we don't
Yes.
have to, but we should.
Yes,
You're gonna like it.
absolutely.
You're gonna like it
In
in
the
10
end.
years when you
Yeah.
watch this
Yeah.
video with your kids, and they're
I'm
gonna be like,
editing one right now. The couple had such a fun day, but they didn't do private vows.
Mhm.
And it's like, you might think the same thing, Tom, but like private vows can be one of the main drivers for
Absolutely.
the couple
Yeah.
speaking and
100%.
on the film. And it's like, okay, you guys aren't doing this. That's totally fine. You're not doing letters. Totally fine. Can I interview with you in the morning?
Mhm.
And I got all this backstory from the interview. But again, couples are going to be different. They're going to
Mhm.
have different days. Some are going to be like lively,
Yeah.
fun dance party,
Mhm.
energetic. Some are going to be like
More
tame,
reserved.
calm, more
Yep.
reserved.
Mhm.
But it seems like, from what you guys are saying, it's like branch out,
Mhm.
make that little bit of a, oh, this is going to hurt to see this money
Mhm.
go,
Yeah.
to invest in what could be a decent amount of growth potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't have to be you're giving up half your wedding cost to get a video edited or photos edited. Like it can start by just having like an assistant person who helps organize things on the back end. Like you said, call. Like I think those things are important. Like it can be little tasks that you give
Mhm.
away that will make all the difference in how much your energy you're able to give to like post-production or editing, whatever you want
Mhm.
to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just marketing, finding more
Yeah.
couples to work with.
Mm.
What was that second point about the client experience that you wanted to highlight?
For sure. So the first point was the relationships that Tom talked about, making sure we're the right fit for the couple and having that personable relationship. And then the second point would be that we show up for our couples as the expert. So
Mm.
I've noticed this even from when we got married. We weren't quite as involved in the industry at that point. So I was so confused throughout the process. I didn't have a full service planner, should have, but I didn't. And I was getting asked questions all the time, like, do you want to do a first look? And I was like, sure, if you tell me what it is. What's a first? Like just didn't know any of the
Yeah.
terminology, didn't know anything. So
I would say most couples are
most
that
couples
way.
are that way.
Mhm.
And I get on the call and I'm like, you can ask me any question because I do this every weekend and this is your first
Yeah.
wedding,
Yeah.
Make
and
sure
if
it's
it's
their
your
first
second,
wedding before you say that, though.
well, if it's your second, like it's only your second, like it's just the experience isn't there. They
For
don't
sure.
quite know what to even ask us. And I want to show up for them as like the expert because I think there's too many experiences um, that I've heard of, at least with weddings, that the couple's just not guided through the process and they don't know what's next. They don't know what to do. And like they need an expert there to be like, this is how this is going to play out and this is how it's going to happen and it's going to be okay. And we're going to talk you through all of it and
Yeah.
like, don't worry about it. And I want to show up for all of our couples with that
Mhm.
energy of like, we got this. Like, you're going to be taken care of completely. You don't need to worry about what's going to happen and where. Like, we'll figure it out and you're going to love it. And that's it,
Mhm.
So I think those are our two like main elements of experiences. Like, we got you, we got this, we've done this long enough, we know. And we show up and we see our couples and they're already like friends to us. And we hear the bridesmaids go, do you know them outside of here? And
Yeah.
they're like, no,
So,
we spent one engagement session with them, but
yeah,
like
one
you
afternoon, one
learn
evening.
so much, about those people.
I
So
Yeah.
always tell couples on consultation calls, I'm like, look, even if you don't book me, I want you to leave the call and understand more about video,
mhm,
what it isn't,
Yeah.
like even just like what you want from it, because
right,
sometimes they don't even know.
Yeah.
right,
They're just like, oh, well, my friend got a videographer and they got this video. It's like, well, is it like a highlight film? Did
right,
you see like a teaser?
right.
Did they get like other stuff that you didn't see that
Yeah.
you're like not even thinking about?
Mhm.
But I'm curious, like on photo and video, it could be some of the same, it could be some differences there, but how do couples find the right one for them?
Depends
Ooh.
on their priorities for sure. I
Yeah.
think that there's different photographers that are, like you said earlier, with style that are so different. Like we come in all shapes and sizes, like all different colors and editing styles. And, it's hard to know what's the right choice. I think you really have to decide, like, based on portfolio, based on the
Mhm.
conversation, based on like the questions that you're asking them or whatever, if this person would be someone you would trust outside of your wedding day. Like you're entering into the most important day of someone's life and you're, inviting these professionals in. You really want to make sure like
Yeah.
you like their
I
personality
know.
at,
Yeah.
Yeah,
baseline,
for sure.
I think a lot of it is once you get past the like, okay, this couple wants what do you call it? Dark and moody photography or whatever. I don't
versus
know what
light
we're
and
calling it
airy or
these days.
whatever.
Yeah, dark
Yeah.
and
Versus
moody.
like light and airy or whatever, they fall
I'll
somewhere in
back you for the
between.
dark and moody.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like once you kind of get past style, I think yeah, it just comes down to your vibe and your personality, and if you click with them. Um, I think we've had fantastic calls with
Hmm.
people, and then they haven't booked, and we're like, dang, what did we say wrong? Because we feel like it's not
Right.
doesn't have to do with style. Because if they're coming to us already, they usually already know what kind of style they're getting or what they want,
Hmm.
Yeah.
basically. So I don't know.
It is
Yeah.
this weird
Yeah.
thing too where um I totally agree. Find the style that you like. There could be one person that does that style or 10 people that
Yeah.
do that style and they could all do it the same or slightly different or
Right.
all do it really well. Um, but I think it does come down to the experience
Yeah.
and the vibe. So like what should couples be asking or
Mm.
how can they get that vibe before the actual wedding day where, maybe they didn't do an engagement session, so they're
Hmm.
kind like how do they figure all of that out?
I think uh check your like photographer or videographer, whoever you're interested in, check their like social media, check their website, like look at the content that they post. Do they ever post themselves and like their personality through there? Because that can help you just see kind of like, is this person like lighthearted? If they post themselves, like it's sometimes a good thing because it's like you can kind of see how they talk to the camera or things like that. Like even Instagram stories, like you interact, I feel like, with Instagram stories like it's, I don't know, your friends or whatever with
She's
past
just
people. But
FaceTiming all of her favorite people.
yeah, but then also like their website will say like kind of some things about them. You'll see their look. But then I think on the call, not being afraid to be like vulnerable and personal, I think is always helpful because if like everybody comes into that conversation, it's just like you're open to talk about kind of every area. Like we'll get on a phone call, somebody's cat will walk across screen. We're gonna talk about the cat. We're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, your cat's so funny. What's his name?" Blah blah. Blah. And
Yeah.
then where'd you get him? Like, how long have you had him? And they're like, "Oh." And then that's like oftentimes a story that has to do with both of the people in the couple. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we met and then we found this cat." You know, it's just like a part of their story. So it's like being on the couple side or on the vendor side, just being open and personable to talk about those things and like ask questions. We always used to warn people like our dog is going to bark and they're like, "Oh, we love dogs. Can we see him?" And it's like, yeah, sure, show them the dog. And it's like some people are like, "Oh, it's kind of unprofessional to pull your dog on a Zoom call," but like, I don't know, you're creating your relationship with
Yeah.
people. I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm probably just rambling at
Yeah.
this point, but
Yeah.
No, show them the dog. If you get anything from this
show them the
podcast,
dog.
show them the dog.
I
Yeah,
think that highlights Tom's like relationship aspect. Like that
Yeah.
is like
I just
his.
want to talk to them. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think for a couple, if you are in this process and you don't know how to figure out like if this is the right fit, asking the photographer or vendor, whoever, specific questions about how they approach a wedding day. Um, are they going to direct or are they more fly on the wall? Even these terms that you see on people's websites, like everyone says they're documentary style photographer today,
Yeah.
but
That's
I've
why I
worked
was
with
like,
documentary
clarify what you
style
mean.
photographers who aren't they
Yeah.
just work the same way as everyone else, but they include more candidates. So what does documentary style mean to you? Is that aligned with how I operate a wedding day or not? You know,
Yeah.
like as a photographer, most times I will give you gentle direction. Are you okay with that? If not, like I have other people I can recommend for you.
Yeah.
Even
Because
just
as the vendor, you want to be working with people that
Mhm.
want what you just do.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you don't need to be on the
exactly.
day of
Right.
Mhm.
thinking like, oh, I'm going to gently direct. And then the bride's like, yo, cut it
Yeah,
out. And you're
yeah.
like, whoa, what? I thought we
Yes.
were
Yeah.
cool and now we're not cool.
Right. So it's important to kind of ask those types of questions and ask the photographer or vendor to like, can you explain that? Can you give me an example? Can you, whatever, just so you know what you're walking into,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is hard to tell. Also, I do think, yes, being active on social media is awesome. Having that like relationship with people online is great. I have a lot of photographer friends who are booked and busy and they haven't posted on
That's
social
true.
media in like
Yeah.
Right?
a year.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a lot
And
to
great
say.
personalities too. So
There's a lot
and
to say about like
You, if you're
yes.
listening and you're this vendor,
she
they
knows
do still
she
love
knows
you.
who, she knows
Oh
who
no,
she is.
she
She's one
knows
of
who
our
she
best
is.
friends. Yeah. She knows exactly who she is.
But
Yeah.
The
but
subtle
there's a
shout
lot
out.
to say about great photographers who give great experiences and all of their friends want to work with that person again. And that specific photographer who I'm talking about, who you will know.
You can name drop
Uh,
her. What is the problem? She's in Central PA. You can name drop her.
okay, well, Bobby Phelps Photography, if you're out there listening, she's an
And you posted
incredible.
last year.
You
It's
posted
time.
last year. It's time to start posting, girl. I tell you enough. But she is an incredible photographer and gives her experience. Like or her couple is the best experience, and I've had the pleasure of like being her second shooter multiple times. I get to see it firsthand, and most of her weddings are referral from past clients.
Yeah.
Like most of them, I would say majority or other vendors because she's a delight to work with.
Yeah.
So even beyond like you hear all this stuff all the time. You got to post 3 times a day, whatever. Like I think
Gary
that's
V.
just yeah. I think that's just like get back to the foundation. Like give your couples a great experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stay true to your work, and I think you'll attract the right people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I love I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with social media, which is funny that I'm doing the podcast so that we can post more things and
Yeah.
connect with vendors and stuff. But I do really think if you show up just as yourself
Mm-hmm.
as much as possible, people are going to either connect or they're not. And if they're going to connect, that's probably going to be closer to an ideal
Yeah.
couple for you. And it's totally fine to have an ideal couple in
Right.
mind. I think it.
Because
I
there
think
are
it.
different
Yeah,
experiences.
and I
Yeah.
think it gives you a chance to have the weddings that are fulfilling to you.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And for me, like for us, we can tell the stories that we want to tell.
Yeah.
Um, and not all of them are going to be the same, even if they are
Right.
Mhm.
like sort of an ideal couple in a
Right.
way.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think for couples, like, don't feel bad saying no to a vendor.
Yeah.
Like, you can get along with them really well, but if you want a ton of direction on a wedding day and you are on a call with someone, they're like, I'm documentary only. Don't feel bad saying no to them and going to like the next
Right.
call and being like,
Yeah,
I need to book
I
this
would
other
say
person.
if you're gonna say no, just say no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like actually say
Well,
no.
like I think
Yeah.
my hot take though is that I don't mind being ghosted.
Yeah, I don't
Like
care
if I
either.
am not
Oh, that
the
is a hot take.
is
I
that
Is
a
do
hot
it?
not.
take?
I do not like being ghosted.
I do
Dude,
not
they could get to
care
the
at all.
contract point and like deposit point. If they
Yeah.
ghost us, we do not care. Who cares? They
It's
pick
not.
somebody
I
else.
don't know that it's that I care. It's just like as a business owner, we can kind of like shift back to the business people in the room. I'm like, I just want to know if I should like email you again. Should I text you
Mm,
again? It's like, do you have any concern with like the follow up on that
Yeah.
no.
You could
ghosting?
do like one follow up if we send a
No,
contract
I
in.
do
Yeah,
like
yeah,
for the back end,
yeah.
I have automated follow-ups.
Yeah. Hmm.
Obviously, most people do,
Gotcha.
but like it's timed out. If I don't hear from you, I'm sending the last follow-up that says, "I haven't heard
This is
from
the
you.
last
Yeah,
time.
This
yeah.
is my final like reach
Yeah.
out. I'm gonna assume you found somebody that's a better fit. Best of luck to you." Like still
You're
gonna
like,
send my emails if they don't reply. Like it does not bother me in the least. They're talking to so many people. They're giving you if they did a consult call with you, they gave you at least 30 minutes of their life.
yeah.
That's plenty of time. You
And they're
know,
giving how many other vendors 30 minutes of their
yeah,
life? Like, you have to
exactly.
remember that these people are working full time jobs
Yeah.
and then
Right.
doing
I
wedding
mean,
planning on the.
hopefully they're connecting with the
Yeah,
ones
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they're
right.
yeah.
gonna give the
Exactly.
money
Yes,
to. But
Yeah.
yeah.
yes.
And also from like the business side of things, eh, I don't like count a job as like for sure until like the money's in our bank
Oh,
account.
for
You know what
sure.
I mean?
Right,
Like, I
right.
just don't even
Well,
get my
that's how you
hopes up.
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not
that's how
even a
you
hot
book. It's
take.
just once we have a contract signed. If you
It's hard
ghost
not
me
to get
after the
excited though.
contract is signed, then we have
Oh
an
yeah,
issue.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
hard
but
not to
that's
it's
fair.
hard not to get excited after a good meeting though. To be
Sure.
honest, I'm
Fair.
like,
Yeah.
Sure.
that was a good meeting. This couple is awesome.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then it's like,
It's
okay,
definitely
chill.
I think, yeah,
yes.
and I'm not saying we're like non-emotional about it, but I think we get off those calls and we're like, dang, hope they book us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If they
but
don't, we're
if
like,
they
dang,
don't,
that's
yeah.
a bummer, but like that's fine. We
There's
just move
been
on to the
so
next
many
thing.
couples in our course of our career where I've looked at Tom and been like, I'm so upset they didn't book because I was so stoked to capture that type of
Yeah.
wedding.
Hmm.
But like I'm just such a firm believer in like what's meant for you will be and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's meant for them is somebody else. And whatever happened in that story, I wasn't meant to be a part of it.
Yeah. I probably need to take a note from your book though on I don't get upset if I don't hear back. I just like to have a
You like the
solid
closure.
yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a no.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, cool.
Well, that is their no.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
no.
They are yeah.
I just think
Okay.
once I
I'll
thought
take
of,
that.
Yeah.
That's
I think once I just started thinking about like how many emails and stuff they're doing outside of their normal life
for sure.
to
Mhm.
do a wedding, I'm like, oh, no wonder they can't get back to you. Cause like, yeah, I don't know.
That's why you get a planner,
Yeah.
That's
I
why
mean,
Planner might not even email you back, but whatever.
Yeah. From that perspective, I don't enjoy jumping into an email and figuring out what to respond.
Mhm.
So I can totally understand like that part of it too,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that. That's why I
Yeah.
like AI.
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
would say,
just give me a framework.
Gently
Yeah,
let
yeah.
them down.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we don't do it off. We don't really do it often, but like saying no on the business side is also just like good to know that you can do, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
you can also be the one to be like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, we're
Not a good fit.
Yeah, not a good fit. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Are there other systems or things that you guys do in business that help keep you organized, that help keep um, money going the right direction? Like what kind of systems do you guys have put in place?
yeah,
Well,
you
we
wanna-
implemented the profit first system. Oh my
Guys, if
goodness.
you haven't
Yeah.
read the book, read the book.
Yeah, we haven't read the book. We
Oh,
just
well, yeah, I guess you don't really.
we got the Spark Notes online and we implemented that
Mhm.
into our because I hate reading a book that
Yeah.
could have been bullet points.
It could, yeah.
So
If you take 50% and use that to pay yourself, and 30% for operating expenses, and I think 15-ish for tax,
We do it a little
5 for
different.
profit. That's where
Yeah.
that's where he says to start,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you can adjust your numbers accordingly. I
Yes.
But
think
if
his biggest
yeah,
thing is like not wasting money on
Right.
unnecessary expenses
100%.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And I will say
and
as
obviously turning a profit.
yeah,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and just making sure that as you make more money, you don't leave it at 15% taxes. You need to
For
raise
sure.
that because your
Right.
taxes will increase. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Sorry.
just
That's
don't want
where
to give tax
yeah, yeah,
advice.
yeah.
And
This is
someone's like, I
not
saved 15%.
this is not a
Yes.
tax
Yeah, yeah,
This is
advice
not legal
channel. It's
advice.
not legal advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say it is funny to go through a system like that because Emily really went down that rabbit hole. And I remember the meeting where we went to like our business banker and we were like, hey, we want to implement this and we want to set up like, what is it, 5 bank accounts,
At
I
the
think,
time, we
under
were
the
just
one.
like, we want 5 bank
And
accounts
she was
open
like,
so we could divvy everything
what?
out.
She was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
I
We're
did the
like,
Yeah.
same thing.
Emily explained it and they were like, oh, okay, that kind of
Because
makes
we're the
sense.
type
Yeah.
of people, both Tom and I have ADHD. So, like, if we see we have money, it's
It gets
really
spent.
easy
Yeah.
to spend it.
Mhm.
We love
Same
gear.
though.
We love,
Oh, same though.
we love
Mhm.
coffee. We love a
Same
lot of
though.
things.
Guys,
So, it's really easy to,
Mhm.
like,
we're
let your
already
money
best
go.
friends. We'll just
You
let
know?
all of our money go
Yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, that was a big one for us. And then, yeah, I think just like that really, honestly, that was a huge one because it helped
Mhm.
catapult us into saving money so that we were able to reinvest in ourselves
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do these business ventures that we, have done. So,
And Emily was a big proponent when we first got married. I only went to 1 year of college and then dropped out and just kind of got into the video industry.
Classic filmmaker.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep,
Thank you, Professor
textbook.
Garcia. Professor Garcia told me to drop out, so I was like, cool. Anyway,
If he said
uh,
it, you should just do it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. But yeah, so when we got married, I didn't really have much school debt. You had a full like 4 years worth of debt, and so
Mhm.
Emily was like, I want to pay off this debt as quickly as possible. So we did pay most of that down, and we did kind of like a debt-free journey as much as we could. Um, and then like I think it was like in the middle of like COVID or whatever. But that put us in the mindset of also saving on the personal finance side
Mhm.
because there's like a big difference. I think we talked to some vendors that are friends and their finances are all kind of like one stream. And it's like when you do that 5 bank accounts, you can't buy groceries out of those
Your
accounts
tax money.
Yeah.
because like you're now looking at it as like, wait, that's tax, that's
Yeah.
expenses.
It's like labeled.
Exactly.
Yes,
So we then, are more organized on the personal finance side and being like, okay, we need to save more of ours, live below our means as much as possible.
Mhm.
And that's a big thing just in general is like we were able to open those doors further down the line because we were living below like what we were making, and that profit first mentality kind of like
Right.
helped with that.
Well, and it
So
helps too with what you were mentioning before about investing in maybe personnel or
Yeah.
it could be education
Right.
yeah,
that could open up the door for business growth in the
Yeah.
future. If you're not being at least halfway decent with your money,
yeah.
Mhm.
when that opportunity presents itself, you're
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
going to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
think I'm pretty bad at it. Like I would probably be worse off if we hadn't gone like the routes that like we went.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty bad at just like the money's there, just like spend
Let's
it.
switch
You know what I
my
mean?
whole entire camera operating system to a
Yeah,
different.
like
I
Yeah.
would never do that. I
Well,
would never switch from Canon to Sony. I would never.
I went Canon to Sony to Panasonic, so I've
Oh, you
been
went
through
Lumix?
it. Yeah, I love the
Dang.
Lumix.
yeah. So
We're
needed
gonna
to
tangent
be.
real hard if we.
I'm
I'm
locked
gonna.
in.
I'm
needed to
I'm
gonna.
locked in
reel
now.
in
Lumix.
with our-
Filmmakers know Lumix is the way to go.
Oh my gosh! Look at this guy.
That's just my hot take.
This
I'm
is gonna
just
be a hot.
kidding.
Yeah, sorry.
So anyway, we needed the structure. If you can't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah,
So-
we needed that structure to just
Yeah.
like set ourselves up to be like, I don't know, Emily was still like coming from like the corporate world where you have a set salary.
Right.
I was like, yeah, 1 month you make this many thousand, the next month you make, half that, whatever.
This many hundreds.
Yeah, exactly. Like whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Like
matter.
it balances out, right?
Yeah, it balances out at
That's-
the end of the year, whatever. And she
Yeah.
was like, no, we're going to be married. We're going to have, have rent to pay. I mean,
Yeah.
I had rent to pay, but like we would have joint rent to
You were
pay,
just like living rent
other
free.
bills, stuff like that. So it
Yeah.
was just like, she was like, we need to get it like more in line and be more consistent,
Right.
especially for her coming from a full-time job. And
Yeah.
so that set it up to be like, okay, let's have 6 months expenses, like our actual like rent, utilities, food on the table, like all that stuff, just 6 months in the bank account as soon as possible on the personal side.
Yeah.
Just like save that. And then we just like kind of kept that mentality of saving that much money until until we're just have
Is a
flexibility.
huge difference if you're a business owner. That's like, and I just feel like wedding professionals are in this like they're either like you guys, like business minded,
Mm.
or they're like weekend warrior.
Yeah.
It's all one account, their personal and business
Hustle.
stuff. Yeah,
It's
Mhm.
it's
fun to
just
make 100 grand a year,
yeah.
but if you spend it all, you didn't make 100 grand in that year.
Yeah, but having the buckets where your money goes,
Yeah.
it
Mm-hmm.
I'm a visual person and maybe
Yeah.
others just aren't as visual as I am, but when I had one account and I needed to pay taxes out of there, I needed to
Mm-hmm.
pay personnel out of there,
Mhm.
I was I didn't need to buy gear, but I was buying gear out of there.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh shoot, I need to pay my second shooter $600
Mhm.
and don't really have that in the account right now."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like, uh
Yeah.
okay, we need a better
Yeah.
system
Right.
Or
in
every time
place.
you're coming back to that, you're like, can I buy this camera because
Yeah,
I need to pay this person, this person? And you're like doing
doing the
math
math.
and
Yep.
keeping notes. Like that was how I was,
Yeah.
unfortunately, before. And
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, that's like a disaster waiting to happen because
Yeah.
then you're going to overextend
At some point.
at
Yeah.
some point and then be like, oh, I can't pay you for another 2 weeks until I get the next wedding check. You know what I mean? Or something like
Yeah.
that. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, that
So
organizational on the finance side is like crucial.
I think we started even way back in our first year. We started to our business to be as organized as possible, as if we had 30 couples a year. We
Mhm.
weren't doing 30 weddings a year our first
Mm.
year.
We
Oh
only
my
did
gosh.
10 our first year,
Yeah,
I
we did
believe.
10 maybe, like
But the
maybe.
systems
But the
like right
systems were
away.
there. We got our CRM set up. Everybody was in our CRM as if we had,
Yeah.
100 weddings under our belt and this was normal. Like we wanted it to be as streamlined as possible because
Yeah.
again, like we were jumping into this with like we're here, the reason we exist is to create
Mm-hmm.
this experience for the couple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
for
that
sure.
that first year was not about like making our living off of it either.
No.
I think we said every dollar we make off the first year would go into either some like marketing materials or
That's a
something like
lot
that.
of Lumix cameras.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
I'm
And
just
I was back.
kidding.
I think I was back on the GH5s back then, so
Oh,
yeah, we were
nice.
rocking it.
I think that only set us up for being able to like
Mhm.
have money set aside
Yeah.
that felt like a salary because then we weren't starting our year at zero.
Yeah.
We had money set aside that was like, okay, we can start paying
Consistently
ourselves
paying
Yeah,
a
yourself. Yeah.
specific amount each
Yeah.
month. And
Yeah.
it
That's
wasn't as
huge.
stressful as like a normal,
And that really,
freelancing job where you're like, oh, hopefully I can make enough.
I think for if there's like newer wedding vendors, even in today's era, I don't really know what it's like to be new in the industry now. I feel like there's a lot of advantages because there's so much like content about like starting a wedding business.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think a lot of people would do well to look at just general business advice, not just wedding advice, because that will set you up for more success. Like if you run it like a real
Totally
business,
agree.
Yeah.
and like you were saying, not just like kind of off just like one bank account or whatever. If you set it up like it's a legitimate business, like you said, those systems will automatically. And I used to not believe that. I used to not believe that like a system will make you more successful. I'm like, it's just organization.
But it was like, let me show you how
yeah,
this
but it
works.
genuinely
Literally.
does because it prevents you from spending all of the profit. It
Yeah.
prevents you from like overextending. It makes you think a little bit more before you make certain decisions on either taking a project or how much you're charging even. It affects like, I don't know, if you're like, hey, we can't charge under this amount because it literally doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
part of like
It's
just
helpful to
regular
know.
business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
helpful to know.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope that can be helpful in some sense.
So we're definitely we're not financial advisors in
No.
any stretch, but I think what you can take from that part of the conversation is great advice. But more so, just like get yourself in a mindset of where you are a business owner, you are an entrepreneur. If you want to be, or you don't like, if you're a wedding vendor, you've stepped into it.
Mhm.
And so if you're gonna
Yeah.
step into it, you might as well just jump all the way in. That was kind of a cool analogy. I just kind of walked into that.
Love that.
But seriously, if you're gonna do it, you might as well just jump all the way in and just go after it because you don't know what's gonna come from it if you don't try. And I think that's like what you guys have just highlighted in your story. It's just so cool to see what might have felt like just like a small thing. I mean, now Tandem is grown over the years. You have all
Mhm.
this other stuff that you guys are doing, a new coffee shop that's opening soon, a new location. So it's just all very, very cool. And I appreciate you guys being on. This conversation
Yeah.
is
Of
so
course.
great. I'm curious, where can people find and follow along with what you guys are doing?
So we are on Instagram at Tandem Wed and online. Our website is tandemwed.co.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
if you're ever in downtown Gettysburg, you can stop by President's Coffee. We're on the corner of Washington Street and Lincoln Highway, hence why it's called President's Coffee. But yeah, 100 Chambersburg Street there. And yeah, stop by, get some coffee, hang out.
Get a
Gettys-
Lincoln latte.
Yeah, Gettysburg is a great place to just like, I always tell
Have
people
a
for like
cute
a weekend
weekend.
away,
Yeah.
a little day trip. Like it's got history, but it's also got some great restaurants and stuff too. So
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Emily, Tom, thank you guys so much for being on. I appreciate you guys tuning in to this episode. It's been so fun. Hopefully you guys have gotten a ton of good information, and just even hearing your guys' story is just so encouraging too. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, do all the things that help the podcast get out there. Share it with all of your friends. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Preferred List.